I hear it all the time, but I've taken a lot of this information that we've talked about and that I've heard from other sources about the algorithms controlling
Oh yeah.
the narrative, which we talk about the narrative control, often, but we usually come at it from more of like a cultural or social or political angle. But
There's a technological side to it as well.
I mean, Allison obviously did more than touch on it. She focuses
Right.
on it.
Right.
Um, but I've thought of it in that from that perception, from that perspective. But a new perspective that Ben Stewart had said it on one of his either Waking Infinity news or podcast or something, but I didn't even understand it when he said it. It just like hit me yesterday, or it might have been earlier today. It's like a lot of the people, I don't think that they're even exposed to the stuff that we're exposed to. Like, and
A
they're
lot of people
exposed
like
to
who?
information that like people that just have different cultural views or different social views or different political views. Like, they're not even getting exposed to the information that we're getting exposed to.
Oh, right,
They're not
right.
being
Folks that don't.
shown. They're not even being
Right,
shown because of the algorithms are like, it's not only that they wouldn't look at it even if they saw it, it's that they're not even seeing it.
seeing it. Right,
The algorithms aren't even giving them the opportunity to see it.
right,
And
right.
they're not even getting the opportunity to see the better points that they're making, I think.
Right.
You know
Right. No, very, very good point. And where does that stem from? How is that set up? Is it based off of
the algorithm is literally designed to divide the people? That's who.
Right, right, right. Well, I mean, that's what I
You
wear in
think,
this
all
one
right,
year.
so here's my thing. Like to connect the war back to the algorithm thing, it's like whether the war is real or not, I feel like it's rooted in the war that's going on like a spiritual or mental or emotional level
So it's
of
connected with that.
beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
the belief of,
Mm-hmm.
are we individual or does the state own us, like essentially, or to what degree are we, forced to play by the collective rules, or in what degree are we allowed to have free choice?
Right.
um, so yeah, I mean, as far as the war, like whether or not it's faked, or I think that there is a lot of footage out, especially the more viral stuff, that isn't real. But I almost find it hard to even comment on, because what if there is real bombings going on and real shootings
For
going
sure.
on there, which I'm sure the fake stuff might even spark some of the real stuff, that like that there's that negative feedback loop going on there too. It's like,
Right.
what if just because people are seeing this stuff on TV, then they're in Ukraine, like, 12 miles up the road from the movie set, and then they come up into town and start doing some real shit because they're pissed off about what they saw on TV. Like, it's hard to know what's real and what's fake. I do feel
For,
like a lot of the viral stuff is definitely fake, but we're
mm-hmm.
not seeing 99.999%
No, of
of it.
course not.
There could
Once
be a real
again,
war going on over there. So I find that aspect of the war hard to even comment on, but I do think that there's a war going on the internet where everybody
oh
lives
yeah.
today,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah.
algorithms are directing that war, and they're
Oh
they're
yeah.
playing both sides of the war, and they're
Of
profiting
course.
off of it. um
Of
so
course. Of
it's
course. But like,
honestly, I think the majority of the people that identify with the left are good people. I think that what we see, because of, and I want everything that we talk about in this episode to connect back to the algorithms, man, because that's
mm,
I
no, I see where you're
didn't
going
know
with it though.
exactly what I wanted to talk about
No, 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 but I see where
until I
you're going with
that.
it.
And I think that's what I want this episode to be, is the algorithms, because that is really what's driving the division more
All
than
of
the
it.
deep state, more than any
G.
of the
More than
Illuminati, more than
more than
any of the other force, and more than any
more than
human
mainstream
force.
media, more than mainstream media today.
Yeah.
More listen, because they already know that their viewership is dwindling. They are the only thing that's watched on live TV anymore these days is football, and really that's it. Like, viewership across
We already covered
everything
that.
is down. Yeah, of course. But my point in bringing that up is they know where it's happening. That it's happening on your screen. It's happening on your phone. It's happening on your tablet. It's happening on your computer screen. So no, that I know what you're. I say it all the time. It's funny that this we didn't even really know where we were going to go with this today, but it's kind of going here.
Because information shapes beliefs, and beliefs shape actions, and actions shape how we treat each other. Our actions shape relationships. So if the information that people, if they've got it dialed all the way into where they can control how each individual receives information, that's a lot of control, because then you're basically, how much control does that put over their beliefs, which control the action, which control the relationship, which controls the whole dynamic of humanity.
It's the program, but you're programming it differently, though. It's
the response to people that are vampires, energy vampires, as some people might call them, or just those people that will not return the love that people like me, or just, I would consider the youth that way. Young kids are just naturally open and loving,
right?
And they learn not to, because people are so fucked up in this world and treat
they
people
get them
like,
there.
especially people that are very loving like that. Those are the first people that are attacked, and like, you're a fucking weirdo, or there's always a reason to attack that person that's like super loving and super happy.
That's true. That's backwards in it. That's backwards in itself right there.
And you talk about the fun. It's the crabs in a bucket phenomena,
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately the response, the way to work through that, is to just keep loving them, but not like literally spending energy loving them, but rather, actually loving yourself first by separating from them, still, having love for them, not wasting your energy hating them or telling them that they're wrong, or creating an argument or creating any bad energy or tension, but just, out of love, separating and hoping that, they learn that, hey, I feel like, energy is a feedback loop. So maybe I'm wrong, but the way that I see things is like, if I love, I'm not necessarily, I've learned, because life will teach you that you can't just love anybody. Not everybody. Some people will just be a parasite, and they'll just suck that love up, and you're not getting anything back. But the people who do give it back to you, well, then you receive that, and it makes you feel good. So then you want to give back again, because you're going to get it back again. And then that just creates a stronger and stronger and stronger bond. You know what I mean? And so, and that's like stronger than money to me, having a real friendship, or a real somebody that you can really rely on to be real with, like, that's worth a lot more than money, really. Because when times are bad, where are you turning to? Other people.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, that's why I think it's just important to root yourself in love. And like, I'm not naive to the fact that there are people out there that will just take advantage of that. And so I do think you need to be aware enough to be able to discern who is reciprocating that love and forming bonds and forming communities with those people. So like I said, it's not a naive hippie, like, oh, love everybody. I think you should start out loving everybody, but you also need to have the discernment to see who's reciprocating it and who's not, and who's worth putting in your circle, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
I've made that's part of the reason why I want to like do the podcast, is like, I've recorded how I feel about that. If people want to know how I feel about that, go listen to that shit. I'm done.
Right.
I mean? I'm really trying to focus on love. And I know that there are people out there that are not going to reciprocate it. I know that. I'm not naive, but I'm really trying to put my antenna out there and find the people that are going to reciprocate it, and trying to form something real, whether it's not as virtual or not. I think at this point, the algorithms kind of have us by the short hairs, as Mr. Lucente from our high school used
to say.
The algorithms got us by the short hairs. So, I think it is kind of necessary to create a virtual community and then come together in real life, outside of the friends that you already have in real life. And it's important to,
growing a community is always the thing. I mean,
to strengthen to finish my thought, I do think it's important to strengthen the relationships you already have in real life, and to cultivate any real life relationships that you can make. But I think that there's also the reality of the fact that most people's social interaction is online today. So we just have to like live with that reality too, and interact with that in a loving way as well, in that same manner that I just described, where it's like, you should love everything, you should put yourself out there in love, and then the reciprocal, it's like you got to have that discernment. So what entity is a parasite that's just sucking that love up, not giving anything back, and then what
Right.
entity is is willing to give back, not
Right.
because not even out of a business relationship, but out of they understand energy like that too. And so they understand, if I give it back, this person already gave for no reason. So if I give back, let's test him. It's like a test every time. I'm gonna give you this, testing you. Are you gonna are you somebody that's giving, and then they give back,
Right.
but and then you give them more, and then they give you more, like, if you're, not a lot more, not your whole life, it's calculated, but it is from a place of giving. And then I feel like that creates a bond. If you're the type of person that's more giving with your love or your attention, or your stories, your knowledge, your money, whatever, physical, non-physical, that energy, if you're giving with it, I do feel like it attracts other people that are willing to be giving with it too. And that does attract strong bonds. And that's the awesome part about that. But then this is the balancing act. So I do like want to emphasize that I'm not naive to the fact that there's going to be people out there that are parasites, that there might be some out there that are good enough to they know how the feedback loop works, and they're working it, but eventually eventually they want to get the bag, you got to watch out for them too,
Yeah.
But that's just life, man. It is what it is. I think ultimately, at a soul level, at a heart level, like, I just have to remain somebody that's strong, and like, I'm always going to be willing to love, like, and forgive even the people that try to fuck me over. Like, you fucked yourself over, bro. Like, you don't know me. You don't know the power. You don't know the power of my understanding of how energy works. The hologram on a universal level. Like,
right.
Stop playing with me, cuz.
Flex. You just dropped that's a flex right there on people. That's G.
I'm gonna love you and make you look stupid while doing it. That's
all right.
And not even because I want to make you look stupid, but because it's just you're hating me, and then me showing you love back is like gonna make you look stupid. It's just is what it is. Not because I want to make you look stupid. It's because I want to love you. You were stupid for hating me. I'm gonna love you back, and that's gonna make you look dumb. That's just what it is.
You've already put that out there. You put that out there, so that's exactly how that's gonna go.
But
that's how it is.
There's no reality at all, because I really do believe that it's all in what does Punch call it, or his collective, a room full of mirrors, or even like Reflection Eternal. Talib Kweli and High Tech back in the day called themselves Reflection Eternal, a room full of mirrors. You hear this euphemism used a lot, and from poets and all, whether it be writers or hip-hop artists. I do think we're all reflections of each other. Even the very first story told in the Four Agreements is the story of Smokey Mirror. And, his revelation, his epiphany was that, we're all mirrors, we're all light, reflecting off of each other. And the dream is the smoke in between. So he called himself the Smoky Mirror, just to remind himself that we're all reflections. And so, anyways, I'm rambling a little bit, but
no,
my point is, you just really have to, like, I don't want to say you have to, but for me, I think the solution to all the chaos in my world, and I think the solution to the chaos in the world at large, is to just root yourself in love and be aware that there's parasites out there, and do your best to separate from them, but just know that you're not always going to be able to. And you just deal with those blows as they come, I guess. I mean, it is better, if you can, it is better to separate yourself from that.
Cut the cord.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, man. There's a lot of people that can relate to that in general. So that's real spill right there.
The algorithm thing, though, I do want to finish with that, just because I feel like that was kind of the takeaway here is just be aware of what information you're consuming, and be aware that the people that you might disagree with the most strongly, you might be surprised. You might have a lot to learn from them. I know I have been, personally. That's why I mentioned like the left earlier, is like, I know there's people that identify on the left that I have a lot of disagreements with them, but the disagreements, I don't want to focus on being anti the left,
Mm-hmm.
or being on the left and being anti the right. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to anti anything. I want to stand for the issues that I'm for, and
Mm-hmm.
focus on the issues, and not
Mm-hmm.
the the divisive bullshit, for real. Like, I don't know what
Right.
else to call it, but I think if you're, some people are just okay with buying into that, and that's what it is. They're kind of lost causes. But for people that like are aiming to strengthen the global community, so to speak, um, I think it is a good idea to maybe follow, look into things that the algorithm isn't presenting to you, and purposefully follow or
For
subscribe
sure.
to some of those things that
For sure.
you might not not that person might not everything they say might not resonate with you, but a few things do. So it's not like you're following somebody or something that doesn't resonate with you at all, but you're able to see like the different the gray area, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
different shades of gray, and the different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody has their own perspective, and like you said, they always want to try to pigeonhole everybody. And so if you're feeling that way, just be aware that you might be doing that to other people too.
For sure. For sure.
I know
Absolutely.
I've done it. I'm guilty of it. I'm not.
We all have. We
I'm not.
all
I'm
have.
not playing like poor me victim. I'm saying I did that, so I feel.
Right.
I feel like I need
Right.
to bring that up. So
Right. No, we definitely all have. We definitely all have. But I will be a little more mindful of
the
who I'm calling
algorithms,
sheep.
because it's the algorithms, man. It's the algorithms that are. I don't think it's the people. I think
No, it is.
there
It's
are
a lot.
there.
It's a lot of algorithms. It's a lot of bots too, bro. And the algorithms is bot. It's all part of that ecosystem of fake stuff. But no, it's a bot epidemic out here. I mean, and because we're getting better at being able to identify a lot of this stuff, you can pick a lot of it up, but there's still so much you
But it's
can't
not
pick up.
just. But it's not just the bots. It's everything that the bots influence, and
Right.
it's the whole dynamic,
No,
man.
no, no, no. No,
The
you're absolutely
psychology
right.
to There's a psychology to that too.
Right. Right. No, for sure.
And
Absolutely.
just like we were talking about earlier, it's like, yes, the bots influence, they you're or the algorithms more specifically are pushing, are they're going to push certain things to me to
Mm-hmm.
because I've liked this and this and this and this, and they've got
Mm-hmm.
a file on me. They're going to try to push, Michael Malice and the controlled opposition on the right. Let's just put
Mm-hmm.
it like that. But the left, they're getting people on the left, they're getting pushed the controlled opposition on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody hates Bill Gates. Everybody hates Elon Musk, but some people like this thing about, they're going to not talk about this aspect of Bill Gates. And like, these people are not going to talk about this aspect of Elon Musk because that
No, exactly.
compromises something that they're about. It's
Yep.
just a lot of discernment that has to go on when deciding where to put your energy and where
Absolutely.
to obtain your information. And I think it's just, for me, I'm really trying to focus on listening to people that I disagree with more. The people that
Mm-hmm.
have ridiculous ideas, like that's there's some people out here that are lost causes. Or,
Right, for
and
sure.
maybe they're not permanently a lost cause. Maybe there is hope, but for now they're not worth my time or energy based on my
Mm-hmm.
assessment of my limited resources and what I'm able to do essentially,
Mm-hmm.
with my energy in this world.
Mm-hmm.
um, but at the same time, for the people that are not so ridiculous or so radical on either side, for the people that seem like they still have some humanity about them, and some, I mean, this is the balancing act, man. Like, for real, I feel like there is a balance to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Life itself is a balancing act. There's the energy, like everything is politicized in today's world, but I think all of these balancing acts, they're not all political. A lot of them are just personal or based on relationships, emotional, mental, like
Mm-hmm.
the left and right brain, how balancing
Yeah.
your art side with your science inner scientist.
Yeah.
all of these things, and balancing your intuition with your reasoning function, your logic,
Yeah,
analytical.
that's got to be, that's an interesting one right there.
There's so many balancing
Yeah,
acts, and
yeah.
I think the way to refine your inner balance is to um, listen to those who have different ideas that are not, again, I don't want to focus on the people that are so radical that it's like, obviously you don't need to. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to them at all, but you can put them on the back burner until they get a little bit more refined anyway.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I do think there's people that that everybody in my opinion deserves love. I think it comes back to that same thing I was saying before, where it's like when you don't know somebody, I think the best way to respond to anybody that you don't know, any stranger, is to show love initially, and then it's that energy feedback loop. And I do think it is ultimately about giving, but it is also about receiving too. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the primary is the giving, because that's going to continue. If they're a giver and they have that same mindset of primary giver, then they're gonna that feedback loop is going to get stronger, the relationship is going to get stronger, and good things are going to come out of the strength of that relationship.
Right.
um, and I think that strong relationships should be more valued, because that was the alienation era. I feel like we're becoming so alienated because of these algorithms that it becomes almost imperative to balance that out by talking to people that are getting their information from different algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
To
That's a good way to put it.
summarize that up.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good way to put it right there. Bringing it back to that too, because I think that this episode really caught its legs when we started to get into
Algorithms.
the algorithm lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.